I will be debating in opposition to the resolution that the United States federal government should ban all testing that requires the use of animals. Let me first call attention to the wording of the resolution. The resolution clearly states the United States federal government should be the agent to unilaterally ban all testing that requires the use of animals. I'll explore this wording shortly after addressing some of my opponent's ideas. The issue I have with the basis of my opponent's speech, and you as the judge should have as well, is that throughout her speech it is implied that we are to morally equate human life to the life of any other living animal. She uses the phrase, quote, "more animals are killed than humans are being saved by animal testing," close quotes. Even if this is factual in terms of sheer numbers, the numbers fail to reflect the value of human life. How can a human, one with supreme intelligence, a conscious being, come to terms with equilaterally treating all life? My opponent would like you to believe that a fruit fly that lives for 24 hours should be considered equally with that of a human baby, one with the capacity to learn, to grow, to think, to become aware. Where is the line drawn? Plants are living. Can we not test on plants? What about a virus? Many would argue a virus is alive. Should we treat a virus as a human? My point is clear. The life of a human is intrinsically sacred in value and should be held to the highest esteem. This is not something I feel I need to convince you of further, as the status quo in place today exhibits this well. There is animal testing today for the benefit and furthering of human life. To ban all testing requiring the use of animals is to devalue human life. Even if we value human life as anything less than ultimate, society itself is poised to collapse under anarchy as individuals disregard each other in all actions. The status quo of a ban, rather a lack of, is today what best fits the continuation and furthering of science. The scientific community as a whole functions and is committed to advancing its field as quickly and efficiently as possible. My opponent questions the use of animal testing when she cites the low number of drugs tested on animals that advance to human trial. My opponent, like her citation of Thomas Chalmers, seems to be stuck in the 1800s. She says, quote, "animal lives are being taken away where no significant progress is being made," close quotes. No significant progress? Humans live longer, new diseases are cured daily, science is advancing more rapidly than ever. It is very clear that medical progress is being made, and not slowly, but in leaps and bounds. My opponent glosses over the entire scientific advancement of the last 150 years, the birth of biology, chemistry, physics, antibiotics, vaccines, and modern medicine as a whole. Wouldn't it be logical that scientists use the most advanced research techniques at their disposal in order to further science? By limiting the scientific community's desired research techniques in any facet, the federal government would inherently limit science, thus making research worse, not better. If a ban were to be placed in effect, progress would essentially stop towards the treatment and cure of hundreds of diseases and conditions. Think of the millions upon millions of people that would continue to struggle and suffer and die worldwide. I fail to recognize the benefit under my opponent's plan. Individual human beings, people you may know and love, would continue to live in agony and fear of death in spite of treatments that could have or would have been made available had we allowed for animal testing. Consider this. Logically, animal testing can never truly be banned. Humans are irrefutably animals. Any testing that humans do, be it on another species or on some alternative in a lab, would be testing by a human, thereby animal testing. SATs would be banned. Doctors and lawyers, educated people, tested on to make sure that they are competent in their respective fields would no longer exist as animal testing has been banned. In essence, society would, as a whole, would collapse under a ban of all animal testing because humans are animals and anything that is evaluation of skill or knowledge is a test. A ban on animal testing would be the collapse of society. Even if animal testing were to be banned, the federal government should not be the agent to do so. The debate resolution states the United States federal government should ban all testing that requires the use of animals. Our government does not have this power. Banning all testing means banning tests worldwide. This should be a United Nations sanctioned vote by the nations of the world. If the United States federal government tried to enforce a ban on all testing that require the use of animals, other nations would view this as overstepping powers and interpret legislation against their country as an act of war. The United States federal government would incite a world war by banning all testing that requires the use of animals. Thank you.